Hi, I'm Sherry and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to learn how to make the blue dress. This is part 2. Last week we made this cute little sleeve tunic. I made a black one with this fabric here. And it's 2-part because we bought 4 men's long sleeves and 2 top shirts, and we're making 2 garments. That's why this is part 2. So here's what we have. I had to do a little recap here in case you're new. We cut these men's shirts apart. This is how we did it in the last video, and I'll put a link to that video down below, so if you want to go watch it and see how we made the sleeve tunic, you can do so. But we cut the sleeves off, and you want to cut just to the inside towards the shirt, and that way, and leaving that hem there. And the reason we do this is so that we've got that hem there that won't fray, so when we use the sleeve it doesn't fray as badly. And you want to remove the collar, which isn't entirely on camera here, but you just cut the collar off along the seam line like that. And then you also cut the shoulder seams so that the shirt will lay flat, and I go ahead and remove the back piece as well. You wouldn't have to, but it's just what I'm used to doing for most of my videos. And now we're going to cut the angles we need on this front shirt. So you're going to have it right side facing and fold it in half like that. And I match under the arms, and I try to match the shoulders, because sometimes your bottom hem is not a straight hem. And so here you see me trying to pull that back up and match the shoulders out, and it's still, see how it wasn't quite straight? That means that shirt, the hem wasn't straight. So you can't necessarily just follow the shirt hem. And so now I'm trying to decide here how long I want it to drop below the sleeve. And I actually got mine a little bit long here, and partly I forgot on men's shirts, which is what I'm using here. They have a very deep sleeve. So when I dropped down, what I was thinking was 10 inches below the arm, it was just a little bit long. I probably should have done 8. And I'm hand sketching this out, but I'm going to show you how in a little more detail how to get this exact every time. Because basically what you want to do is your point will be halfway between in the middle there, and it will be 4 inches down. So if you had an 8-inch shirt, it would be 4 inches in would be your center point part. And here I'm measuring it just to make sure I did eyeball it correctly, and I'm right there, right in the center. So, and you could make it drop less, you could make it drop a little more. You know, that's a fun thing about upcycling, is it's your design. So once I mark that out, I'm going to cut that, and just follow that through and do my cut through both sides. And the mark won't matter because it does wash out, but also I will be sewing over the top of it. So I was okay with having that mark there right in the front. And then when you lay it out flat, it will look like this. I used to try to sketch the entire thing, you know, all the way across, and that is a much harder way to do it. So now we're going to cut our pieces, our back pieces that we have after we cut the sleeves off and the collars and the shoulder seam like I showed you. What you're going to want is just a long rectangle. Now think about this. I'm using this for the bottom portion, but think about what you could use. You could use tablecloth pieces. You could do the patchwork and make each one of these rectangles a piece of patchwork. And your top could be, you know, it could be anything you want to use for a top. It could be a hoodie. It could be, you know, it could be a button-down shirt. And basically what you have when you're done is a long rectangle. And so the biggest thing would be make sure your rectangle was long enough. And you could compare it to an open shirt. Measure the shirt open and make your rectangle that long. And so here I've done them all, and I'm on my last one. And I didn't get them exact. You could cut these, you know, you could lay them open and cut them. You could do like I did, fold them and cut them. You know, there's many different ways to do this here. And so after I cut all my shirts off, and I tried to make sure the shirts I used were the same size or within one size of each other, so that I didn't have super short ones and super long ones, but still here I have a difference. But I'm trying to decide, am I okay with that? And I decided I was, because I'm using the dark pieces for my outside pieces. So I'm okay with the insides being a little bit shorter. I'm thinking, that may add some character to it. So I'm going with it. I'm thinking, well, let's try this. So again, here I'm showing you how you would measure. You're going to be somewhere in the center at 5.5. There I was in the center, and I was 4 inches high. I went ahead and measured it just to be sure. And remember, if you're off a little bit in this project, it's going to be okay, because it's a very relaxed sort of style. It's not too particular. Even a 1/2 inch off or so, you won't even notice it in your finished product, which is why I really love upcycling, because it's not an exact science, and you can be off a little bit. Like there, I was off on my cut, so I'm like, okay, do I need to go shorter to make this straight? And I'm stretching it out, I'm pulling it out. And if I had taken my time and cut these a little more carefully, I wouldn't have had that problem. But I discovered, hey, look, I can just trim that up. And I just want to show you this in real time, so in case you come across some of these same issues when you go to make yours, and you may find a way that is faster or better. I'm just showing you what I do. I'm not saying that I know everything, or that this is the best way to do everything. I'm just sharing with everybody how I make my upcycles. And my method changes as I learn and grow. And I'm always learning new styles, because you have to. In the upcycle industry, you can't just stay on one style. You have to come up with new ideas. You have to come up with new product. And it's challenging, but I like that aspect of it. I like that I have to, be creative, and I have to come up with a new product, and everybody's like, wow, I don't have one of these, So here I'm taking my shirt, and I'm going to put my end pieces on first. And again, I like using dark for my sides, because it is more flattering, I think. And for me, it's more eye appealing. And I've decided which side I'm putting it on. And the way I do this is I find the center point of the piece I'm going to put on, and I put a pin in it to mark that center point. So here I'm pulling my shirt out, and I was like, see, I've matched it on that side, and then there's my center point. And I'm going to put a pin there, and then I'm just going to pin it to the center point under the sleeve. And that way I know it's draping the same on both sides when you see it from the side. And I'm doing 1/2 inch seams here. I'm folding it over, and I'm just going to pin it right there with the same pin I marked it. And this gives me the perfect drape on both sides. And to make sure I make that angle, like I don't move, I don't bunch or whatever, I find it best just to start in the center and then fold it as I go. You could take it off and pin it here if you're not comfortable doing this. I put my needle down in it to hold it, and then I remove my pin, and I zigzag it. And if you hear snoring in the background, that is my great big fat orange cat. He snores so loud, so if you hear him, I apologize. That is not me snoring and talking at the same time. That would be a talent, wouldn't it? So here I am. I'm zigzagging down, careful to fold it a 1/2 inch as I go. And I will just do this all the way down this piece. And I always backstitch where I come off there, just to make sure it's not going to come undone. And I don't want the knit, also you have to be careful not to stretch your knit as you're sewing onto it. Never, if you do pull it, it will kind of make a wavy appearance. And it's not super bad. You can get away with a little bit of wavy, but you don't, at least I don't like a lot of it. It just doesn't look right to me. And so I'm just folding it as I go. Remember, these are, pretty straight. We cut them pretty straight, and so they're not too hard to fold over and go down. And then I'll just When I get to the end here, I'll make sure I do a good little back stitch, and I had a little bit of trouble coming up over this where they put the buttons. This fabric has got like a velvety feel to like a flocking or something on it, which I'm trying to make something for winter, so I picked some heavier pieces that I had in my stash. And this is a great way to use up, like if you had shirts that had stains or ruined sleeves or something like that, this is a great way to use that up. And let's say you had a piece that had some stains on it. You could throw some cute patches on it, and it's, you can bring new life to old clothing. And think about all the things you could use for the tops when you're making these. And you can make these in summer style. You can do tank tops for the top and cut them and use lighter weight sleeve or bottom pieces, shirts, like the lighter weight men's dress shirts, and make these for any season, which is awesome. I've seen these done with like a denim shirt, and they leave the shirt like the button style with the collars, and they'll use that for your top, and then they'll make the bottom open up. And I've seen some really cute like duster jackets made this way. So it's fun just to let your imagination roll, just picking colors you like and doing whatever. You could even do it with a sweater for a top on this, and use, some thick, I've never done one with a sweater, all of it a sweater. It might work out cute. I don't know. Somebody's got to try that. So here I'm doing the other side exactly the same way. And I found my center, and I'm sewing it down, and careful to fold it. Now this shirt I'm using here is actually a double shirt. It has a lining in it. So I'm just very carefully folding that lining and it as I go. And this top, if you want to sell this top on Etsy, if you're a creator, you can make it very fast, but it is heavy to ship, and you have a lot of product in it because you have to have at least 5 shirts total. So if you don't have a good source for used clothing, the cost in making this one can be quite high. And if you have a button at the end, you saw me using my little razor there, just take it off, and then if it's going to be in the way, and just finish your seam down. But I don't make a lot of these. They do actually sell well, so if you want to make some for your shop, a lot of times I make them with a t-shirt, and I will do a design on the front of the shirt as well as doing the bottom. I don't usually put pockets on them, but I don't know, that might be a thing a person could do. So here's how I do my front and my back pieces. I find the center and I pin it. And then what you're going to do is use that as like if it was your center of under your sleeve. And see, I checked there. I was like, okay, am I on the front or the back? And I was on the back, and I knew I wanted to put the dark color to the back. So I folded it out, and I was shocked. It's almost straight. I didn't get my other one straight, but I'm like, okay, only a little piece here. And so I'm finding my center again, just like I did on the others. And you're going to do exactly the same thing again. You're going to put a pin there and fold it and pin it to it, and you will start again in the center. But you're going to want to make sure, be really careful. The shirt I'm using here stretches really easy. It's like a thermal shirt, men's thermal. And I used a lot of men's tops when I'm making plus size clothing. Because the sleeves are so deep, a lot of women really prefer that if they're plus sized, so that they have extra movement in the garment. They might want to layer and do some things. It gives them that extra room. So, oh my gosh, a jet's going. I don't know if my mic's picking that up or not, but a jet just went overhead. So again, you put your needle down, and you're going to pull your pin out, and you're just going to do the same thing. You're going to stitch that on, being very careful not to pull your fabric or your shirt, because this type of knit will stretch really easy. And if you use anything like a spandex knit shirt or anything, you have to be careful it doesn't stretch too much. So yeah, and just be creative. You could piece together beautiful lacy linens. You could do one that was like all patchwork on the bottom with, some sort of really fun top. This garment comes together very quickly, and it has a lot of potential. So I really suggest this is actually a really good beginner one. It does help to have a big desk. I was thinking about this as I was editing the video. It definitely helps to have a big desk to lay it all out on, and some kind of big table. So you might want to pull your sewing machine out and if you have a small sewing desk, and set it out on your dining table or something to give that garment room to sort of sprawl, because it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger as you're sewing those pieces on. And it starts becoming a little cumbersome under the machine. As you can see there, I've got quite a backup of fabric going on there. But you want to take this, and you see how even though I use the same size shirts, see how they come up different sizes, because some men's shirts will be big and tall, and there's just a difference in the shirts. So, but I think that's what makes it cute. That's what makes it really cute. And that's how you put them together, is you go all the way down. After you sew those to that point, see how when I get down to that point, you just overlap them a half an inch, and you just keep going. And I straighten them out flat, and you half inch over, and you just sew them all the way to the end, and you do that all the way around the garment. So, and this is the amazing part. We are almost done. This is how fast this one goes together. And it's really, really cute with leggings and tall boots. It's just absolutely adorable. Because of the way it rises in the front, it gives you the cutest sort of sneak peek to some tall boots. And make sure you straighten each one of your pieces like I'm doing there up, because otherwise it will be hard to fold it under. And match again, pin to pin. And you sew it down, and it's a beautiful piece of clothing that's quick and easy to make. I could probably make 3 of these or more in a day. But it uses a lot of shirts, and it's heavy to ship. So all the things you have to think about if you're trying to make a profit on your upcycled clothing. But if you've got a lot of shirts to use up and you like the style, or you've got access to cheap shirts, this would be not only a money maker, but it'd be a great way just to add some cute pieces to your wardrobe. You could cut if you didn't like how long everything was, you could shorten it all up. You could make these rectangles shorter and make it more like just a shirt tunic. Which, think how cute that would be over some capris or something. So I'm doing my last seam here, guys, and we are almost done. I just can't believe how fast this went. It's a beautiful dress, and it sells well. So everybody remember that if you want to put some of these in your shop. And so here we have it. We're all done, and it's like I said, it's just beautiful with tall boots and leggings, and it also makes a beautiful jacket. And you can use collared shirts for the top. You could use hoodie. You could use, anything you wanted to. Because see how it does that kind of sneak peek for boots? It's just absolutely adorable. Well, thank you everybody for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Jesus loves you. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye for now.